Not every love that is meant for you arrives softly. Sometimes the love that belongs to your soul comes with confusion, distance, silence, and moments that make you question everything. You may look at the situation and think, if this were real, it would be easier. If this were mine, it would not hurt this much. If this love was meant to stay, why does it feel so uncertain? But the truth is, some of the deepest connections do not begin with perfect timing, perfect words, or perfect circumstances. They begin with intensity. They begin with fear. They begin with two hearts recognizing something powerful before either person knows how to hold it. This love may not look like the kind of love you imagined. It may not always feel calm. It may not always give you the reassurance you crave. There may be moments when you feel forgotten, misunderstood, or emotionally exhausted. But difficulty does not always mean absence of love. Sometimes difficulty means there is something real beneath the surface that both people are still learning how to face. Because real love does not only touch the heart, it touches the wounds. It wakes up the places inside you that still need healing. It reveals your fears, your expectations, your need for safety, your fear of being abandoned, and your fear of wanting someone too deeply. So before you give up on this love, pause. Ask yourself whether it is truly gone, or whether it is simply being tested. Because some love stories do not end because the love disappears. They end because someone gets tired too soon, misunderstands the silence, and walks away from something that was still alive. There comes a moment in every deep connection when the heart gets tired, not because the love is gone, but because the uncertainty becomes heavy. You start replaying every conversation, every silence, every change in their energy. You ask yourself why something that once felt so alive now feels so fragile. You wonder if you are holding on to love or just holding on to a memory of how it used to feel. This is when giving up begins to look like peace. You tell yourself that maybe walking away will hurt less than waiting. Maybe silence is an answer. Maybe distance means they no longer care. Maybe the love was only real to you. And slowly, without realizing it, your mind starts building a case against your own heart. It collects every delayed reply, every cold moment, every misunderstanding, and turns them into proof that you should stop believing. But pain does not always mean the love is over. Sometimes pain means something important has been touched. Sometimes silence is not rejection, but fear. Sometimes distance is not indifference, but emotional overload. Sometimes two people pull away not because the connection is weak, but because it is stronger than they expected, and they do not know how to stand inside it without losing control. You feel like giving up because your heart wants certainty. It wants to know where this is going. It wants to feel chosen, safe, and understood. And when love does not give you clear answers, the mind tries to protect you by saying, "Leave before you get hurt more." But do not confuse exhaustion with truth. Do not let one painful chapter convince you the whole story was a mistake. Sometimes the moment you want to quit is the moment love is asking you to grow, to breathe, to see deeper, and to understand what is really happening beneath the fear. The love that is truly yours does not vanish just because things become difficult. It does not disappear in one night, one argument, one misunderstanding, or one season of silence. If you don't know what to say, when to stay quiet, or how to stop making things worse, the Marriage Restoration Playbook was made for you. It's a practical step-by-step guide for women who want to rebuild emotional safety and real connection in their marriage without the panic, pressure, or wrong words. Link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Real love may become quiet. It may become buried under pride, fear, confusion, or distance, but it does not simply stop existing because life became complicated. That is why you still feel it. You may try to distract yourself. You may tell yourself to move on, to stop thinking, to stop hoping, to stop remembering the way they looked at you when everything felt safe. But something inside you keeps returning to the connection, not because you are weak, not because you cannot live without them, but because some bonds leave an imprint deeper than the mind can explain. When love is yours, it has a different weight. It does not feel like a passing attraction or a temporary emotion. It feels like something that entered your inner world and changed the way you understand closeness. Even when you are apart, there is still a quiet thread between you. You may not speak every day. You may not know what they are feeling. You may even convince yourself that it is finished. But somewhere beneath all the noise, the connection still breathes. And that is what makes it so hard to let go. Because your soul knows the difference between attachment and recognition. Attachment panics. Recognition stays calm, even when it hurts. Attachment begs to be noticed. Recognition simply knows that what happened was real. If this love is yours, you will not need to force it to exist. You will feel its presence in the spaces, in the pauses, in the way your heart still responds when you think of them. So do not judge the strength of love only by what you can see right now. Some love survives in silence before it finds its way back into words. Sometimes love becomes silent, not because it has ended, but because both hearts are overwhelmed. There are moments when two people stop moving toward each other, not because the connection is gone, but because they do not know how to carry what they feel. The pause feels cold, it feels final, it feels like rejection, but not every pause is a goodbye. Some pauses are protection. One person may need space to understand their emotions. The other may need time to heal from the pain of feeling uncertain. Words may stop, messages may become fewer, the warmth may seem hidden, and in that silence the mind begins to panic. It starts saying, "This is over, they forgot you. They stopped caring." But the heart often knows something the mind cannot prove yet. Love can become quiet when it is afraid. When feelings are deep, they can scare people. They can bring up old wounds, old fears, old memories of being hurt before. Someone may step back, not because they feel nothing, but because they feel too much and do not know what to do with it. They may need distance to breathe, to think, to understand whether they are ready to love without running from themselves. That is why you must be careful before calling a pause an ending. An ending has closure. A pause has tension. An ending feels complete, even if it hurts. A pause feels unfinished, like something is still waiting beneath the surface. If your connection still feels alive in the silence, if there are still emotions that have not been spoken, if the story still feels open in your chest, then maybe this is not the final page. Maybe this is the space between two chapters. Do not rush to bury something that is only resting. Some love needs silence before it can speak honestly again. Real love is not only about what you feel when everything is beautiful. It is not only about the easy days, the sweet words, the long conversations, or the moments when someone makes your heart feel safe. Real love reveals itself most clearly when things become difficult, when emotions rise, when misunderstandings appear, and when both people are forced to decide whether they will react from fear or respond with maturity. Because love without maturity can become painful very quickly. Two people can care deeply and still hurt each other if they do not know how to communicate. They can miss each other and still remain silent. They can want the same thing and still push it away because pride speaks louder than honesty. This is why feelings alone are not enough. Love needs patience. It needs self-awareness. It needs the courage to say, "This hurt me," instead of disappearing. It needs the strength to listen without becoming defensive. Maturity in love means you do not destroy everything just because one moment feels heavy. It means you do not turn every silence into a war, every fear into an accusation, every wound into a reason to leave. It means you learn to pause before reacting. You learn to understand what is happening beneath the surface. You learn that sometimes the person you love is not trying to hurt you. They are trying to survive their own emotions. And maturity also means knowing your own worth. It does not mean accepting pain endlessly. It does not mean chasing someone who refuses to meet you. It does not mean losing yourself to prove your loyalty. Real maturity is knowing when to be patient and when to speak the truth. It is knowing how to hold love without begging for it. So if this love is yours, let it grow you. Let it soften what fear made hard. Let it teach you how to love without losing yourself. If your heart still reacts to this love, do not ignore that too quickly. There is a reason their name still touches something inside you. There is a reason certain memories still return when you are quiet. There is a reason you can be busy, distracted, surrounded by other people, and still feel a sudden pull toward them, like your soul remembered something your mind tried to forget. That does not mean you should chase. It does not mean you should abandon your peace. It does not mean every feeling must become an action. But it does mean you should be honest with yourself about what is still alive inside you, because the heart does not hold on to everything. Many people pass through your life and fade. Some conversations lose meaning. Some connections become memories without pain. Some names stop carrying emotion. But then there is that one love that still feels unfinished, not because you are obsessed, not because you are stuck, but because something in that connection reached a place in you that ordinary love never touched. And that matters. When someone's absence feels too deep, when the silence between you still feels full of emotion, when you can still sense the bond even without constant contact, it may be a sign that the story has not fully closed. Sometimes the heart continues to feel what the mind is afraid to admit. Sometimes your soul recognizes that something real happened, even when life has not yet shown you how it will unfold. But listen carefully. A sign is not a command to suffer. A sign is an invitation to understand. Ask yourself what your heart is really telling you. Is it asking you to return or to heal? Is it asking you to wait or to release fear? Is it asking you to fight for love or to stop pretending you never cared? If your heart still feels it, do not shame it. Some feelings stay because they are trying to show you the truth. Fear has a quiet way of stealing love before love ever gets the chance to become what it was meant to be. It does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes fear sounds reasonable. It tells you to protect yourself. It tells you not to hope too much. It tells you to expect disappointment, to close your heart first, to walk away before someone has the chance to hurt you. And because fear speaks in the language of safety, you believe it. You start hiding what you feel. You stop reaching out. You pretend you are colder than you are. You convince yourself that caring less will make you stronger. But deep down you know the truth. You are not becoming stronger. You are becoming guarded. You are not healing. You are building walls around a love that still wants to breathe. This is how many beautiful connections are lost. Not because the love was weak, but because fear became louder than trust. One person fears being rejected. The other fears being vulnerable. One waits for proof. The other waits for courage. And slowly, two hearts that want each other begin acting like they are enemies. But love cannot grow where fear is always in control. If this love is yours, do not hand it over to every insecurity, every doubt, every painful memory from the past. Do not punish this connection for wounds someone else created. Do not let old heartbreak decide what your present love deserves. Fear may protect you from pain, but it can also protect you from the very thing your heart has been praying for. So breathe before you run. Feel before you shut down. Be honest before you disappear. You do not need to be fearless to love. You only need to stop letting fear make every decision for you. Because sometimes giving up is not wisdom. Sometimes it is fear wearing the mask of self-protection. If this love is yours, it deserves effort. But effort should never mean losing yourself. There is a difference between fighting for a connection and begging someone to see your worth. There is a difference between being patient with love and abandoning your own dignity. Real love may ask you to grow, to wait, to understand, to soften, but it will never ask you to disappear. This is where many people get confused. They think not giving up means chasing. They think love means accepting every silence, every mixed signal, every emotional distance, as if suffering is proof of loyalty. But love is not supposed to turn you into someone who forgets their own needs. Love is not supposed to make you smaller. Love is not supposed to make you constantly question whether you are enough. To fight for the connection means to show up with honesty. It means to speak from the heart without manipulation. It means to say, "This matters to me," without demanding control. It means leaving the door open for truth, but not standing outside forever in the cold. It means giving love a chance to breathe while still protecting your peace. Because the right kind of love does not require you to destroy yourself to keep it alive. If the connection is real, it should meet you somewhere. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not immediately, maybe not in the exact way you hoped. But real love responds to truth. It feels the weight of sincerity. It recognizes care when it is offered with an open heart. So do not give up too quickly, but do not abandon yourself either. Hold the love with grace. Hold yourself with respect. Let your heart remain open, but let your standards remain awake. The love that is meant for you will not need you to lose your soul in order to keep it. Sometimes the hardest part of love is not waiting for the other person. It is staying honest with your own heart when everything around you gives you reasons to become cold. It is refusing to turn a real feeling into shame just because it did not unfold easily. It is not calling love a mistake simply because it brought pain with it, because pain can make you rewrite the story. You may start telling yourself they never cared. You may convince yourself the connection meant nothing. You may try to erase every soft memory just to feel stronger. But deep down, you know when something was real. You know when a bond touched you in a way that ordinary moments do not. You know when a person became part of your inner world, even if life made the path between you complicated. Do not betray that truth just to survive the silence. You can accept reality without becoming bitter. You can step back without closing your heart. You can stop chasing without pretending you never loved. This is emotional strength, not the kind that says, "I feel nothing," but the kind that says, "I felt deeply, and I will not let pain turn me against my own heart." Love has a strange way of returning to people who remain soft without becoming weak. Maybe it returns as a conversation, maybe as clarity, maybe as healing, maybe as the same person finally ready to meet you differently, or maybe it returns as peace, showing you that nothing real was wasted. But it comes back in some form when you do not poison it with resentment. So do not curse the love just because it challenged you. Do not deny it just because it scared you. Do not let disappointment convince you that your heart was foolish. Some love does not come to break you. It comes to reveal what still needs healing, what still needs courage, and what still deserves to be believed in. If this love is still breathing inside you, do not rush to bury it. Do not let one season of silence convince you that the entire connection was an illusion. Do not let fear, pride, pain, or uncertainty make the final decision before your heart has had a chance to understand what this love was really trying to teach you. Some love stories are not simple. They do not move in a straight line. They come with pauses, questions, distance, and moments when both people have to face the parts of themselves they usually avoid. But that does not mean the love is false. Sometimes the love that changes you the most is the love that asks you to become more honest, more patient, more emotionally awake. So if this love is yours, treat it with care. Do not chase it desperately. Do not force it to become what it is not ready to be. Do not lose yourself trying to hold someone who refuses to meet you. But also, do not abandon something real just because it became difficult. There is a difference between letting go with peace and giving up out of fear. You will know the difference by what remains inside you. If there is still warmth beneath the pain, still tenderness beneath the silence, still a quiet knowing that something meaningful exists between you, then maybe this love is not asking you to quit. Maybe it is asking you to grow, to heal, to stop reacting from wounds, to stop running from vulnerability, to stop confusing uncertainty with absence. This love is yours, not because you can control it, but because it touched a place in you that cannot be denied. And if something still feels alive, give it truth before you give it goodbye.